So, my dear friends, I hope everyone is back from the break. Yeah, we will have a question answer, brief question answer in the end of this lecture. So please save your questions, write them down if you cannot remember. So as you can see and hear, that our beginning point is, well, for those of you who are into theosophy, you already are well versed in lofty models of this world, this existence. But the other half, in our view, is the practice itself. The fact that lofty information and knowledge, especially knowledge that pertains to the third level, the mind level or the mental level, is not enough. We easily get stuck there. And for most people, they are the realm of existence for them is the lower three levels. They never experience anything higher than that. And so this is very much when the forces of tamas and rajas is predominant. So when we begin to feel a calling for the spirit, spirituality, in its essence, rather than in what can be spoken about it, then we need to, well, concretize the teachings. We have to make the words of the teachings living in our lives, so that we live the theory, that the theory becomes practice. There is really no other way, with the exception of very, very few people who may get a spontaneous awakening. But for the most, it is a process, a long process, like Leena also indicated. A long and gradual process which takes that will and determination to pierce the veils that covers the truth hidden within us. And so at some point we have to realize that it is not so much what can be sought, what we can seek for outside of ourselves, but it increasingly becomes comes to our awareness that we need to find it within ourselves. And that requires a steady meditation practice. And so here in our house in Heartland-Sydänmaa, Sydänmaa means heartland in Finnish. We emphasize this aspect very, very much. This is vital, and in fact, because we are predominantly, as human beings, as thinking human beings, we are predominantly motivated from our minds and our emotional nature to act and to do stuff and to be active in the world and do interesting things and fulfill our desires. But it's all, like also Leena indicated, it's all something that takes our attention away from ourselves rather than withdraw the attention from the physical objects or the manifesting objects, both in the physical and emotional and mental realms. So as I said, that there's really no other way than to sit, like as we say here, to sit with what is, to look deeply within, and to find that all the glory and the beauty and the love that we so much wish for, that we so much are longing for, can be found within us. But if we are not if we don't have will enough, if we don't have knowledge enough, it will be difficult to perform the right action. And so therefore, not only do we need the knowledge to know what to do, we also need the will to do it. And then on top of that, we need support. We need to know that what we are doing is right. So when we begin a deep and genuine meditation practice, many people, most people, they will start blindfolded, not knowing what to do. And so therefore, some guidance is needed, some direction, somebody to point the direction is needed. Otherwise, one can easily get lost in the phenomena that keeps arising. So all this I am saying because we only have short time now, and in the weekend webinar we will go much more into the practical implications of a solid meditation practice. So you will get a better feeling of what it means to have a solid meditation practice. But I don't want you to be intimidated by this. It doesn't mean that you have to, from the beginning, practice for hours, or be very harsh with yourself. No, quite the opposite. We really are emphasizing here to take an approach where we try to understand ourselves. We try to understand the motivations that moves us. So we don't want to suppress anything. We don't want to negate anything, push it away. and forget about it. This is very much the old style of spiritual practice. But Kashmir Shaivism, for example, is a tantric tradition, which means the practice of tantra means to integrate everything, to make anything that is dual, anything that has opposition, to make that one and whole, so that you have opposite forces, you have good and bad. The tantric practitioner will bridge the good and the bad, rather than pushing the bad away and say, ooh, it's bad and I don't want it. Rather, we acknowledge it. We see it. It is also a part of the expression of the divine. And so that's also a sin, to push that away. If we have to use this old-fashioned language, to be a sinner, to be focused on your desires, for example, then you're sinful. No, the tantric practitioner would not say that. There's nothing that is not sacred. And there's nothing that cannot be integrated into your beingness, into your completeness. And so, beginning a spiritual practice, beginning a meditative practice means to integrate all that which created separateness in us. All that creates conflict in us. So, why don't we make a short meditation? Just to give you a little bit of flavor of what I'm talking about. So, begin by making yourself comfortable. Maybe you're sitting on a chair, maybe you're sitting on a pillow. If you're sitting in a sofa or armchair, I suggest that you sit well. The best is to have a straight back, an erect spine, so that you signaling with your body that you are alert, you are awake, and you are present. So begin by becoming aware of your body. This body is not merely some inconvenient thing that has certain qualities that you are not particularly happy about. This body of yours is a divine creation. And without it, you would not be here. So let us begin by giving thanks to the physical body. And if you can feel it, feel a gratitude, a feeling of gratitude towards your body. It serves you every day. It does every command that you give it. Feel how the body relaxes. And as you send feelings of gratitude and thankfulness, your body simply relaxes. And yet you maintain the posture. You maintain the willful, purposeful posture of sitting. Feel how you can begin to relax so that all the cells in your body, all your muscles are relaxing. And feel your body as a whole. Feel how the weight of your body is pressing you down. All the kilos of your body is pushed onto the pillow or the seat that you're sitting on. You're solidifying your presence. At the same time, be aware right now that you are aware. This awareness is not related to your body as such. Not in the situation when you are passively sitting, quietly sitting. Your awareness is something entirely different. You are not your body, but you have a body. So if you have a body, then who are you? You are the awareness. Now you may experience thoughts and movement in the mind, restlessness. You may be asking yourself what to be aware of. I am awareness, what to be aware of. Try to be aware of just the awareness itself. Now you may experience that this is difficult to maintain awareness of the awareness because the mind is restless. Because the mind wants to move. This is okay. You are not failing. You are practicing. I want you to move your attention to your chest, to your heart center. Try to, in your inner vision, to visualize the picture you have been looking at here with the 7 levels. And visualize that dot in the middle, the heart, the point that bridges the pure awareness with the manifest realm. I'm not asking you to bridge that full gap, but with your own capability to embrace and to feel compassion for your own body. Let this quality of love pouring from your heart contain your entire body, mind, your entire being. That you are contained within your heart. And within the containment of your heart, you are able to love your manifestation, your body, as well as your mind. Your thinking mind. Let yourself feel complete and whole. Nothing must be left outside of the reaches of your heart. Now, our meditation is ending. Give thanks. Give your heartfelt thanks to your vehicles, the physical body, emotional body, mental body, all this that is in use every day without second thought. These bodies are an expression of the Divine Mother, Shakti. Vimarsha. And as such, your bodies are a pure expression of that divine presence. And when you honor that deeply, you begin to express those divine qualities. Now you can externalize your awareness, and when you're ready, open your eyes. The meditation has ended. Now normally we do much longer meditations when we have our weekend courses, so we have much better chance to absorb and practice to absorb ourselves in our deeper nature.
So we have some little time left. You're very welcome to, and we very much encourage you to ask questions, and you can also comment on this lecture or meditation, or did you get nourishing to your heart, or did you understand, and how do you, just shortly if you want to share, but also if you want to ask something that wasn't maybe so clear. And you will get this recording afterwards, so you can also look it again. There was a lot of stuff packed in in one lecture here, but you are always welcome to go back to it. Very much encourage you to, if you want to, ask. And there's no obligations for that, but to share something.
Well, we have to specify that those who signed up for this webinar can receive a link to the recording,
yeah.
but those who didn't sign up but have appeared from Facebook, we don't have your email, so therefore we cannot.
Okay, those who signed up. Yeah. Anyway.
But you can send us an email if you want it.
Yes. I would like to ask you, where did you find that tradition?
Kashmir Shaivism, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah, how did you find that? And I'm not sure I really understand how different it is to the Theosophy.
So it's not very different, because Theosophy is also based on all these Asian traditions. Theosophy kind of brings together different traditions. So it's not very different, but what I meant is just that for me it has given some more some more precise hints maybe, but I'm not so familiar with the Theosophy as you may be. So we have studied different traditions, but how to find, it's like the life is just guiding us, and Kashmir Shaivism probably originally, maybe even Mark Sullivan has mentioned it several years ago, and but there is a lot of available material if you're also interested to study it in internet. Something that is called Lakshman Ju Academy. Lakshman Ju is a Kashmir Shaivism master who has passed away only 1991, so he's a kind of a contemporary teacher. And so, his followers have made a very nice also webpage, but his books, his one of the major work, The Secret Supreme, is a really like laying out all this cosmology. And but actually this Kashmir Shaivism has been very much in our system always, because I remember already when I was teaching with Aske Lorentzen in the Golden Academy, I always used these terms of Shiva and Shakti. We have both been very much accustomed this language from within, that it somehow appeals us. And we are not only limited our studies to this tradition. We didn't introduce much our background because we sent this introductory video that you can all see. We are a little bit telling about our background and what we are studying and what we're doing. But Kashmir Shaivism is just one tradition. But since it's somehow, I wanted to now in this particular lecture just to explain these sutras. It's not like we are only teaching this. We are also dwelling from Hinduism, different traditions, and Buddhism. And also Theosophy is our kind of a route where we started with, also with Aske Lorentzen, and very much have had love in our hearts for also for Theosophical masters and very much interest. So we see that exactly like you say, the point is not that it should be different. The point is that we are seeking the same essence from different traditions and then bringing together and refining our understanding.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for your
Thank you.
sharing. Thanks. Nice that you are with us.
There's a question there. Can you
Oh.
go too fast on a spiritual path of development so that it becomes unhealthy?
Well, we can both say maybe something about that, but yeah, you can start if you like.
Yes, of course there's a possibility that you may feel that something goes too quick and it appears to become unhealthy. But when we actually are on a path where it becomes a little bit unhealthy, I don't know what you exactly mean by unhealthy, but let's just say that our mind could be unstable, for example. Temporarily, we could become unstable. Yes, you are saying, yeah. So basically we can look at it from the karmic viewpoint, and that is that our desires and our aspirations from previous lives are also affecting this life. And so both the aspirations and desires that we have come into this life with from previous lives can fuel a certain development and a certain speed of that development. But also the desires and aspirations of this life has an impact on an unhealthy development. But what I mean with the karmic relationship to past lives, meaning that you have a sudden awakening and it comes out of the blue and you don't know what's going on and you're temporarily perhaps a little mentally unstable. And of course that's not a desirable development. We would want to preferably have a more harmonious growth, but it's not always possible. So sometimes we just have to take the bittersweet pill, take the medicine that comes, and see that in the end it has a purpose.
But it also very much depends on the style of your practice. Like what we are doing here in the Heartland, we very much emphasize the integrating the spiritual awareness into daily life. So when you practice in the style of embracing everything that you have, rather than using meditation maybe even as a tool to escape this world to some higher realm where you can kind of forget your problems. So it depends very much on the style, I would say. If it seems like it goes too fast or if it becomes unbalanced. So balanced spirituality is very much when you use love very much as your, and groundedness as your tools of your practice. And you say, so shall one do so if go too fast? So what shall one do if it goes so fast? So it depends now what you exactly mean by that, but if you feel like unstable somehow, it's a very good is to ground, to do meditations that are grounding you, that you exactly the kind of meditation, for example, Hans Christian was now guiding. We will also in the webinar teach very different styles of meditation. To each of us has a particular leaning, but when we emphasize a lot of physical presence and when we emphasize compassion and embracing our personality, then also our experiences that it goes too fast, they start calming down. So when we are able to also recognize our fear, so where usually why it feels like it goes too fast is because our perception is changing somehow. We feel like we are losing the ground and it raises up fears. So when we are learning to recognize those fears and really looking gently our fears and our personality, we are very much calming the process. And it doesn't stop the process, but it kind of integrates your spiritual development.
And this also often relates to a long-term healing of the emotional body in particular, but of course also the mental body. But often we have subconscious material that has not been processed yet. And we cannot see it, we don't know it's there, therefore it is subconscious. And so as we embark on a spiritual path and we do spiritual practice, the subconscious material will gradually lift itself up. It will be pulled up from the darkness into the light. And in some cases, it can feel like there's been pulled up too much. And so this can be, like Leena also points out, that greatly embraced and reduced when we, rather than trying to ascend, but trying to integrate our spiritual realization, our spiritual aspirations, that they become manifest in your physical life, rather than your spirituality is something that lives in your head or in your heart, but it doesn't really relate to the physical level. This is when it goes wrong, or it can go wrong.
So Patrick is here commenting that thanks for inviting us to your home. So thanks for Patrick also to be there with us. I have heard about Patrick from Hans Christian.
Yep.
Good things.
Yeah.
That you're so nice. But we haven't met yet. So is there any final question before we end for tonight?
Yeah. And of course, you're welcome to join the weekend webinar where we can go much deeper in with all this. But a final question
Or comment?
or comment? Thank you.
Thank you, Lilian. Thank you for lecture and meditation. So thank you too. And good. I didn't see Lilian, but if it's the same Lilian, we know. I always have Lilian.
There was a couple of Lilians.
In my heart because we know her very well. And once more, thanks to Liz also Nice to see you. And
Yeah, Liz, thank you
and
for the invitation.
also, thank you for all our own group from Finland that you wanted to join even this English speaking lecture we are often giving. We are teaching in Finnish and Hans Christian teaches in English, but we have a luxury also that we usually even translate those into Finnish except the webinars. But it has been wonderful to see you all and feel you all.
And wonderful to integrate the Danish and the Finnish in one group. Wonderful.
So, pieces of the puzzles come together. You're from Denmark, I'm from Finland, and
Yeah.
that's how it goes. Okay, but so lots of love and awareness, and stay in the heart,
Yeah.
all of you. And
yeah.
all these times also, we have this crisis going on in the planet, and now there is calling very much for all of us to be awake and remain awake, and try to remember that we do have this compassion already. We should not forget it into our daily day activities and hassling of the mind. We also here very much in the heartland connected to this idea of the path of the Christ or Bodhisattva path, where we want to practice so that it benefits all living beings, and we want to remember to be the source of the grace for others. Even when we are imperfect, we can still do that. All of us can do that. It's a wonderful gift from our divine consciousness. Now it's time to stop, even 8 minutes more than we're supposed to. So let's just end by just being 30 more seconds consciously in our hearts. And we give thanks to these amazing teachings brought by different lineages and masters. Kashmir Shaivism being only one, and Theosophy another amazing system that helps us so much in the path to point us where to go, what to do. And we thank for the living presence of all these sources of grace, masters and amazing beings who are supporting our practice every day, every moment. We are never alone, even when it sometimes feels maybe so. We're constantly being watched over and supported. Now sleep well and tight when you go to bed, and hope to see you one day again.
Yeah.
With many, of course, we will see anyway, soon.
May the grace be with you.